Hey YouTube, Untamed here. So I know a lot of you guys are like me in the sense that you are fed up with dealerships deploying their greedy tactics on us. So many Toyota dealerships, well, I should say any dealership nowadays, they're often trying their best to take advantage of us as the consumer, right? They're slapping gross $5,000 to $10,000 additional dealer markups over MSRP on desirable vehicles, right? We see that left and right. But beyond that, we see them inflating the prices of protection packages, right? Like the paint protection packages, the Cheyenne package here local to me. They're taking error, inflating their dock fees. We see it left and right. And I know a lot of you guys are like me. We're kind of fed up with it at this point. So having purchased a lot of harder to find vehicles, a lot of TRD Pros, a lot of 4Runner TRD Pros, Sequoia TRD Pro, Tundra, Tacoma, blah, 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 even Ford Raptors, I take great pride in having negotiated really good deals along the way. So today, I'm no kidding, going to walk through the 5 tips, tricks, whatever you want to call it, 5 things to do or consider doing when you're trying to buy your next vehicle. And I can confidently say, if you do these 5 things, you will save money on your next purchase, and you're going to maximize your trade value on your trade-in if you have a trade-in, right? So I'll try my best to rip through these 5 things. But at the very end, for fun, for those of you who stick it out with me, I'll actually provide you the exact verbiage that I relay to the dealerships when I call them to maximize my chances of actually getting that hard to find vehicle. So if you're after a TRD Pro, I'll tell you what I ask dealerships to maximize my chances of actually getting one that's allocated to a dealership and avoiding a dealership markup. So we'll save that a little bit toward the end if you're interested. So number 1 though, what I recommend doing is call dealerships within a 3 or 4 state radius of you and start further away. Start further away from where you live. So if you're after, let's say a Tacoma TRD off-road, right? You're after a magnetic rim metallic Tacoma TRD off-road. Start calling every dealership that you see has one, right? You look at their dealership websites and see if they have them, then call them up and try to negotiate a deal. Let them know, hey, you're a little bit too far away to drive in, to talk in person, but you'd be interested in making the drive if you can make a deal. So start far away and see what numbers they give you. When your first phone call is going to be garbage, right? So they're going to be like, okay, cool, whatever. We'll give you this much for your trade, which is going to be an awful trade value. I'm confident 9 times out of 10 it is. And we'll sell it to you at this price. That's your starting point. That's your benchmark. And hopefully you called a dealership very far away from you, because now you're going to start calling dealerships a little bit closer to you. You're going to start inching your way closer to your hometown. And you're going to call each dealership and say, hey, I'm interested in this Tacoma TRD off-road. This is actually the deal that was offered to me from such and such Toyota, just up the road from you guys. Are you able to beat that? And that's what you got to ask them. Hey, are you willing to beat this? And 9 times out of 10, they will. They will beat that offer. So what are you doing? With every phone call that you're making, you're getting closer to you, where you live. Theoretically, you're getting closer to where you live, and you're lowering and you're maximizing the deal. You're making the deal a little bit better. You're probably lessening the price of that Tacoma, and you're inching upward on your trade value every single phone call. So that is number 1. So call 3 to 4 states away from you first and start inching your way towards you, okay? Once you do end up getting a deal that sounds good to you, or at least one that you would actually consider, be sure to get it in writing. I've seen a lot of people do this, and I've seen so many people get so frustrated with this. They'll kind of negotiate a deal on the phone with somebody, with the sales rep, and then they make a 3-hour drive to the dealership. Then all of a sudden there's some tacked on protection packages. The dock fee is a lot higher than you thought it was going to be, and the trade value in your vehicle isn't what you really thought it was going to be after you talk to them. Get it in writing. For sure, get it in writing and have it signed by their sales manager. Ask them to do it. They'll do it. If you just had a conversation with them, they'll do that for you. And just let them know, like, hey, I'm driving 3 hours away. I'd like to have some peace of mind before I drive to you. So that is a very important piece. On a side note from this point, never go into a dealership. Don't let them trick you into coming into the dealership. They're always going to ask you. A lot of you probably have noticed this. They're quick to ask you, hey, great. We do have that vehicle. When can you make it into the dealership? When can you make it in here so we could talk about it? They want to get you in that seat, right? They want you in that chair, their chair, to where they can go back and forth with their manager. Hey, let me talk to my manager. Let me see what I can do. Back and forth, they wear you down. They're going to wear you down. And at that point, you have time invested into the deal. And yet part of you will kind of feel beat down, and you oftentimes will succumb to their greedy tactics and be, okay, fine, I've been here for 2 hours, let's make a deal happen. And then you'll succumb to it. And I guarantee you're not going to get the best deal that way. Always get the deal in writing before even driving into that dealership. So that is a huge piece. So that's number 2. Number 3, negotiate the deal separate from your trade first. So oftentimes when you're asking about the vehicle, they're going to ask you a couple of questions, right? They're going to ask you, hey, do you have a trade-in? That's always the first question. You can say, well, I potentially have a trade-in, but I want to see what price tag we get on the vehicle first. Let them know that. Don't commit yourself to having a trade-in right out of the gate. You make sure that you're getting a fair deal, your purchase price of the vehicle that you're getting, before you squeak the trade into the deal. And by this point, like I said, you'd already called multiple dealerships and you've already worked that trade value up. So when you do say, hey, I like the sale price of the vehicle, I already have this purchase offer or trade-in offer from a different dealership. If you're willing to beat them, we'll make it work. And I'm confident in saying that more often than not, they will. They go, oh, crap. And they see it in writing from another dealership, whether it's a text message or something, they'll be like, okay, I think we could beat that, rather than giving you a terrible trade-in value right out of the gate, because they're working from nothing at that point. So negotiate your deal separate from your trade-in, and then loop in the trade-in after the fact. A lot of people too, and it surprises me, this is number 4 here. A lot of people will still think that cash is king when buying a vehicle, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Dealerships thrive, they love it when they can work a finance deal, because they get a bit of a kickback. So when they finance the deal through you, whether it's through Toyota Financial or whatever lender that they work with through the company, the dealership will get a kickback. Oftentimes, be as low as $500 up to $2,000, depending on how much the loan amount is. So it kind of varies a little bit. But all that to say, don't go in there saying like, hey, I want to buy this, we take $40,000 cash for this Tacoma TRD off-road. They're not going to care. In fact, that's actually a worse offer in their eyes. So they're not impressed by that. Leave that at bay. And if you want to pay with cash and you prefer to do that and not finance, cool, leave that at bay. Say, hey, I can probably do either or, cash or finance. I'm more so focused on getting the best deal, and then start negotiating the deal. And then at the very end, you can say, oh, well, I think I'm just going to do cash after all. And then be like, okay, at that point, they've already kind of got it in writing for you. And it's kind of hard for them to renege on that deal and back up on it. So kind of always leave it open is what I'm getting at between cash or finance. And if you do end up financing it, what I suggest is using that as your last possible card, if you will. What I mean by that is, because of what I just said, because they get a kickback, it is a benefit to them for you to finance through them. So pretend like you're very close to getting the numbers that you want. Pretend they're at 43,000 and you want to pay 42,000. Say, I tell you what, if you're able to make 42 happen for me, I'll finance through you guys. And more often than not, I think they will. Most dealerships will see the benefit of that and they won't lose the deal over that. So use that as your last chip, if you will, okay? And the final 5th thing before I dive into what I suggest to say if you're trying to find a hard-to-find vehicle is, do not overpay for an extended warranty. I've seen so many people overpay for the extended warranties. Let me talk through it a little bit. They can negotiate the crap out of their extended warranty offerings. What I mean by that is they're going to come at you like they're going to paint it to be the best possible deal. Say, hey, for an additional $2,200, we can add on, 3 additional years of coverage or additional 36,000 miles of a full bumper-to-bumper warranty for you. So for starters, just know that typically is not through the warranty or through the manufacturer. It's not a Toyota specific OEM warranty, extended warranty. It's through a random third party. So kind of keep that in mind. Why does that matter? It just makes more hurdles and more hoops to jump through to get your vehicle covered in case of an accident or whatever, or in case you need additional coverage. It's just more hurdles to jump over if it comes to that. But just know their price gap, their price margin on those extended warranties, regardless of the manufacturer, Toyota, Honda, Mazda, whatever it is huge. I'm talking, you can negotiate that down tremendously. From a $2,200 extended warranty, I'm confident that you can talk them into doing a $500 for the same exact warranty that they just presented to you. And how they present it to you is, it's kind of a sly way. They'll say, hey, it only ups your payment, $31 a month. You know, they'll sneak it in like that. And you're like, wow, $31, whatever. That's nothing. I'm already paying $600. What's an additional $30? That's how they get you. So talk down the actual figure from $2,200. Say, no, I'm going to pass. You know, let them know. And you'll see them kind of get frustrated a little bit more often than not. They say, well, if you did it for $500, I'll sneak it in. And they'll be like, okay. Because they're still technically selling it. And it still is a, gold chip in the dealership's hat, if you will. So they still kind of benefit from doing that. So that is the number 5 thing. And now, perhaps the most important thing for a lot of folks who I know watch my channel, you're often trying to buy, harder to find or more desirable trims. And that tends to be the TRD Pros, right? So whether you're trying to buy a 4Runner, Tundra, Sequoia, Tacoma, whatever it is, or even like the new 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser, what I suggest doing is do what I just did, start by calling further out and start getting closer to you. There's a little bit of benefit to that, maybe not 3 or 4 states out, but start further away from you. And then you want to ask them say, hey, I'm testing my luck a little bit by asking this, but by chance, do you happen to have a new 2024 Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro inbound to the dealership? And that's how you want to say it. So more often than not, if a new desirable trim hits their website, consider it gone. People see it and they're all over it. I guarantee it. But if you call and ask a dealership that doesn't even have anything on, you can cold call dealerships and ask, hey, test my luck a little bit. By chance, do you happen to have a Tundra TRD Pro inbound to the dealership that's not accounted for? And that's how you want to say it. Do you have it inbound and it's not accounted for? And they're like, oh, well, let me check. And they can look to see what is inbound to the dealership. They can check. And when they do, this is how I've purchased probably the vast majority of all my vehicles. I've lucked out in this way, or quote unquote lucked out. They'll come back and say, well, actually, ironically enough, we do have a brand new 2023 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro inbound to the dealership that's currently not spoken for. There's no deposit on it because they haven't really advertised it yet. So you will, in a sense, have first grab at it. And then half of the luck comes into play with your next question. And that is, assuming if you're not are you an MSRP dealer? That's how I ask it. Say, are you an MSRP dealer? And then if they say yes, say, okay, no, I'm happy to put down my deposit. Or you can ask them, hey, if you sell at MSRP, or if you are an MSRP dealer, I'll place a deposit and secure that with you today. And that's another way to say it. So that is how I've gotten 9 out of 10 of my vehicles. I've lucked out that way. So when you are calling all the dealerships and you negotiate the prices down, the goal is, so going back to, you can do it with any vehicle, even TRD Pros, you can call your local dealership at the very end of it after you called 15, 20 plus dealerships and upped the trade value of your trade-in, and make sure you're getting the price that you want, or lowered the sale price of the vehicle you're trying to get. By the time that you call your local dealerships within your region, within your area, you will be well equipped to say, hey, I see you guys have that 2024 Tacoma TRD off-road coming into the dealership. I already have a few different offers in line, but I'm local to you guys. I'm in your backyard. I've heard great things about you. I would love to provide you with my business. I would love to buy it from you in my backyard. And more often than not, I think they'll actually sell it to you. They're keeping it local. They're keeping, hopefully, the service for that vehicle local. And that's where a lot of money is made for dealerships within their service department. So if you're local and you buy a dealership from them, what's that saying? You're going to be continuing to service that vehicle for the coming years at their dealership. So it's kind of a win-win. But start far away and then get local to maximize your deal. So there you have it, guys. I already made this way longer than I wanted to, but I hope some of you out there find some value in this. And I hope a lot of you can avoid getting taken advantage of by the greedy dealerships out there, unfortunately. So let me know what your thoughts are. Appreciate you watching as always. Till next time.